Ethan Grayson sat alone in the corner booth of an upscale Italian restaurant in the city's business district. The flickering candlelight danced across his sharp jawline, but his eyes held a quiet emptiness. He was the CEO of a billion-dollar company, known for ruthless negotiations and a perfectionist standards, but behind all the power and wealth, he lived in silence. No family, no laughter at home, just the echo of his own footsteps in his penthouse apartment. Tonight was no different. He had ordered a lavish meal, steak, pasta, wine, but halfway through, he pushed his plate aside. Appetite never lasted with him. Loneliness did strange things. Food couldn't fill the emptiness inside. He was about to signal the waiter when he heard a small, timid voice beside his table. "Excuse me, sir, may we have your leftovers?" Ethan turned his head sharply. Two little girls stood there, identical in every way, same chestnut curls, same wide innocent eyes. They couldn't have been more than 7. Their clothes were worn, their shoes scuffed. And those eyes, something about them pierced straight through his guarded heart. The waiter rushed over, ready to shoo them away, but Ethan raised a hand. His voice came out gruff, unfamiliar even to himself. "It's fine, let them be." The twins clutched each other's hands nervously. Ethan studied them. Their cheeks were thin, their smiles hesitant. "You want this?" he asked, gesturing to his untouched food. Both nodded eagerly, eyes brightening with a hunger that had nothing to do with greed. Ethan pushed the plate toward them. They devoured it quickly, whispering thank yous between bites. Something strange stirred inside him. For years, he had drowned himself in work, claiming that business mattered more than anything else. But watching these girls, fragile yet full of quiet strength, shattered something in him. "Where are your parents?" he finally asked. The girls froze. One of them, slightly braver than the other, looked up at him with those striking eyes. "Mommy is sleeping. She doesn't wake up much." The other added softly, "We stay with her in the small room. She says not to worry, but we get hungry." Ethan's chest tightened. He wasn't sure why their words hit so hard. Perhaps it was because he knew what it felt like to be left alone. To want someone to care. Before he could say more, the restaurant manager hurried over, embarrassed, and tried to escort the girls out. Ethan's CEO voice returned, commanding, firm. "They're with me." The staff froze. No one argued with Ethan Grayson. The twins looked at him in surprise. Their eyes, wide and trusting, seemed to beg for something he didn't fully understand. For the first time in years, Ethan didn't want to return to his cold, empty penthouse. He wanted answers. He wanted to know why 2 little girls were wandering the streets at night, begging for leftovers. And deep inside, a terrifying question surfaced: what if fate had brought them to him for a reason? Part 2. The truth behind the eyes approximately equals 1,500 words. Ethan insisted on driving the twins home. At first, they hesitated, but when he promised he only wanted to make sure they were safe, they climbed into his sleek black car. They whispered to each other in the backseat, clutching hands, as though afraid he might disappear. He followed their directions through dim alleys until they arrived at a run-down building on the city's edge. Paint peeled from the walls, windows were cracked, and the entrance smelled faintly of mildew. Ethan's chest tightened again. This wasn't a place for children. Inside, they led him to a small room. A frail woman lay on a thin mattress. Her face was pale, her breathing shallow. She stirred weakly when the girls rushed to her side. "Mommy, we brought food," one whispered. Ethan stood in the doorway, stunned. The woman's eyes fluttered open, and when she looked at him, he froze. Those eyes, the same as the twins. The same as someone from his past. Recognition hit him like a thunderbolt. Years ago, before he became the untouchable CEO, he had loved a woman with those exact eyes. But she had left without a word, vanishing from his life. He had buried the memory, convincing himself work was safer than love. And now, here she was. Weak, fragile, with 2 little girls by her side. "Clara," he breathed, the name escaping his lips. Her eyes widened faintly in recognition. "Ethan," she whispered, her voice raspy. The twins looked between them in confusion. You know Mommy." Ethan's heart pounded. He looked at the girls, then back at Clara. His mind raced with questions, but the truth already formed in his chest. The resemblance, the eyes, the timing, they were his daughters. Years of loneliness, of chasing power, of sitting in silence, it all suddenly made sense. He hadn't been abandoned. He had been a father without knowing. Clara weakly explained through tears. Life had been cruel after she left, pride keeping her from seeking his help. She had struggled, and when the twins were born, she had done everything to protect them, even if it meant hiding. But now, illness had stolen her strength. The twins clung to her, not understanding the full weight of what was happening. Ethan dropped to his knees beside them. For the first time in his life, tears burned his eyes. "I should have been there," he whispered, voice breaking. "I didn't know, but I promise you, I won't let you suffer anymore." "Not you, not them." Clara's hand trembled as she reached for his. They need you, Ethan. Please don't let them grow up alone." Her plea pierced him deeper than any business deal ever could. He nodded, his grip tightening around her fragile hand. That night marked the beginning of a new chapter. Ethan arranged immediate medical care for Clara, refusing to let her fade without a fight. He moved the twins into his home, filling the penthouse with laughter and tiny footsteps for the first time. They were cautious at first, but soon, their giggles echoed in the hallways, turning cold marble floors into a playground. And Ethan, he was no longer the lonely CEO who sat in silence with untouched meals. He became a father, learning bedtime stories, cooking pancakes that always turned out slightly burnt, braiding hair with clumsy hands but a full heart. Every time the twins looked up at him with those familiar eyes, he realized what he had been missing all along. Love, family, belonging. The night two little girls asked for his leftovers had given him something far greater. A second chance at life.